At the peak, this North Scottsdale home was valued at over $1 million. Tomorrow, it's on the auction block after sitting on the market for months. The starting bid, $329 grand.
S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index showed a decrease of 18.7%. The co-creator of the index says this decline may continue for some time.
This time next year, I think housing will be on a positive trajectory, and of course, that's a big plus for the economy.
Mixed bag on the real estate front today, with housing starts falling to their lowest level since 2009 for December, while building permits.
Well, the areas that are going to be more depressed for longer would include the areas that have been hit hard with foreclosures, the obvious areas like Florida, Arizona, Nevada.
You have to look to really kind of read the tea leaves as to where the housing market is headed.
Good afternoon, Arizona. My name is Steve Rundle with Dwellings Realty Group.
And I'm Sean Ibarra from Praxis Credit Consulting.
Sean, how you doing?
Doing great.
Good. It's a great day today.
It is a great day.
As always, we're talking real estate, we're talking credit, we're talking lending, we're talking a whole bunch of stuff. Just talking about getting hit in the face with a microphone. We've all week long, and let me just throw this out there real quick. Check us out on the website, azrealestateradio.com. You can follow our shows. We're going to pull a lot of stuff from a couple days ago, and you can always check out our earlier shows, or you can give us a call with any specific questions, 602-999-1912. But all week long, we've been basically talking about how to choose.
Yep.
You know, how to choose a realtor, how to choose credit repair, how to choose a lender, a home inspector,
insurance agent,
insurance guy, you know, and even beyond that, you know, any service for that matter. I mean, I deal with lawyers all the time, specifically in real estate, but we do deal with legal all the time. And so if you're having some legal issues, let's get those addressed. I'm the president of an HOA out in Gilbert. We have a lot of contacts with people out there, you know, let it be landscape. You know, we deal with landscape guys all the time. You know, we have to get pool covers repaired and that kind of stuff. I mean, pool repair is huge. And so we have contacts in so many industries. And the difference being, in my opinion, as we kind of continue on the topic a little bit, is it could be the difference between why you pursue forward on a home or not. If you really get down to it, you know, last show yesterday, Sean, you mentioned something, and I wish Andrew was here today with us to talk a little bit more about it. But for 203K loans,
they're becoming more popular.
They're becoming extremely popular, especially as homes sit, become a little bit more dilapidated, or you know, the sun right now. This is our hard time of the year because the sun beats up everything. I mean,
right.
You know, outdoor patio furniture, you know, starts to deteriorate over years and years of sun, or, you know, pool tile, or cool decking, you know, landscape maintenance, you know, dead trees, you know, occur if maybe the watering system wasn't on properly. And we get a lot of that because our winter visitors go home and
shut everything off,
or breaks while they're gone. And so, you know, half the landscaping dies because, you know, one section of the watering wasn't going on. And so when we go to sell or we're looking to buy, you know, we get into these issues where, well, you know, look at this house. It's got a, you know, bad pool, and, you know, I don't want to deal with a bad pool. Well, what they may not know is they may not know it only takes a couple bucks to fix, or, you know, it's not that bad, or it's something that we can work into a negotiation with the seller. Or if you're a seller, going, you know, as a professional, saying, hey, look, I think this really needs to get taken care of because you have a spectacular home, but you need about $500 worth of work here that will probably net yield you more money in the end, because now your home is in moving condition.
And that's where the education comes in.
It absolutely is. And
because, I mean, typically if you're trying to sell a house, you're trying to liquidate or get out typically right now.
Right. Well, there's generally a reason. I don't run into too many sellers that say, hey, look, I need to sell in about a year, or I need to sell in about 2 years. Usually they've thought through the process and say, hey, look, I'm looking to sell my house. I'd like to sell it in X amount of time. Or, hey, I need to sell my house. I need to go right now. Those are generally 75% of who we get. It's a rare find that you get someone say, if I sell it this year, great. If I sell it next year, fine. No big deal. Typically, that's an investor. Maybe they got a renter in there. And if the rent's generating income, then perfectly fine. If we sell it, great. If we rent it, that's fine too.
And then the point I was trying to make here is not the fact that timing is an issue. It typically has to do with a budget or issue,
Definitely.
a money issue.
Definitely.
I don't have $500 to put into this property.
Absolutely right.
Okay. Here's what you really need to look at. If you don't spend the $500, it's going to cost you an extra $15 on the price of your home.
For sure. I mean, it's not only a budgeting issue, but it's if you don't spend that $500, you may have to spend $15, $2,000, $3,000 down the road if you wait. You know,
Right.
Landscaping is a perfect example. If you have a bummer,
No curb appeal.
well, right. I mean, if you look at the house and go, look, I mean,
Wow.
you
Next.
haven't done anything with the yard, and the landscaping's not looking so good. It might be worth going down to Home Depot, picking up some plants and pulling out the weeds and doing this.
Now, is that education that you guys do? I mean,
We do all the time.
The curb appeal.
The first thing I do when I look at a home is, talk about the appeal of the home overall, not just the curb appeal, but also interior. I mean, there's nothing worse, in my opinion, in walking into a house. It's a filthy mess. There's stuff all over and clutter all over, and where it may look great for someone who lives there, to a buyer walking in a home seeing lots of clutter and junk, and there's realistic expectations. Kids running around, they got toys, that's understandable, but piles or
how about the 12 dogs?
12 dogs is tough. I mean, you got to find a guy who likes 13 dogs, for that house.
Sweet, we've got enough room.
But we always talk about state, and not just clutter. And I'm not saying you're a hoarder. I'm saying clutter from a perspective of maybe the furniture's a little oversized for a room, and you want to make the room appear larger. Removing maybe a piece or two so that when a buyer walks in, their first objection isn't, wow, this room's a small room. It's, wow, look at how they've laid this furniture out. It looks great in here. And so maybe you downsized and you went from a big house to a small house and you have bigger furniture now in a smaller house. Well, taking a piece or two out may be advantageous because now the first thing they don't think is that room's too small. And so that's the type of uncluttering we like to discuss, depersonalizing a home. I'm sure if you went to Realtor.com or did a Google search and said, how do I make my home better for sale? A lot of these issues are just that. I guarantee that's probably one of the number one or number two items.
Well, I mean, I used to be in the restaurant industry.
Restaurant industry?
Restaurant industry.
Restaurant industry.
It was crazy because you ate with your eyes first, and we always taught people this. You eat with your eyes first, then you eat the meal. If you have a meal that is not eye appealing,
yep,
the meal's not very good.
You know what, Sean? I totally agree with you.
I mean, if you're looking at an enchilada plate, or if you're looking carne asada, or whatever food you like,
right,
it's got to look good.
Yeah, definitely,
and it just tastes that much better.
Well, I was just watching. I love the Food Network channel. All those.
Couldn't tell.
One of those things. I know. Ooh, it's time to hit the gym. I've been on light duty, but appeal. It's a plating is always the biggest thing.
Absolutely,
and that applies to real estate. It's staging. You have plating in food. Who wants a slop plopped on a plate and just left there for you to go, here you go.
And that's why I was saying curb appeal. When you pull up,
absolutely,
you're on stage at that point in time. They've already made up their mind whether or not they like this house or not.
Right, and that plays true so well from food to real estate.
Is it really true about the cookies?
Which cookies?
The baking cookies whenever you're selling your house.
I love that one. Yeah, to throw the
just throw the cookies right on in.
And then, and I've heard so many stories too. It's not even make the cookies. It's just go buy the little loaf of Chips Ahoy or whatever it is. Just throw it in the oven and just turn it on and walk away from it. For $2, gets that smell and aroma or the vanilla candles.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are always they always make a home appealing and nice to walk to because I'll tell you it's never. I would rather walk into that house than to walk into the house that smells like cat urine, and we get a lot of those or dog urine.
I could see how people could get those mixed up.
Yeah, those are.
I could see that.
Those are tough sells. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen urine flavored cookies.
Okay, I'm sure Gold Canyon Candles are working on that right now. That's going to be one of their best sellers,
right? But yeah, you can see the difference. A house that's smelling good and looking good versus one that's not, there's going to be a little bit more appeal there.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, staging is always important, and like you said, landscape is part of the staging process. It's that appeal. It's that, when I drive up to a house, am I driving up to nice, well-maintained landscape, or am I driving up to, car parts in the front yard and a broken down gate and dead landscaping, dead trees? What am I driving up to? 5 feet tall weeds, which are realistic in today's day and age with bank-owned homes and distressed property. Exactly. I mean, no one's out there caring for the house.
The banks don't care?
I didn't say they didn't care. I didn't say that. What I said is, no one's caring for the house.
Oh, okay. I thought you said banks didn't care. I was about to start really wondering here.
No. Banks care. They love us all and are happy to do whatever it is to make the situation right. But that was sarcasm.
I can tell.
Okay, good. But, it's a big issue because we do see houses that are on the market for quite some time and the owners have vacated, they've left. And it's not just bank-owned home, it's just owner vacated because they stopped making payments. But it takes 6 months to foreclose on the house. Then the bank takes it back into their asset portfolio. And then that's another month, 60 days. So now we got 60 or 6 months plus 2 months, we're 8 months. Now we're putting the house out for market for sale. There's a lot of work to be done on that house. It's either dead landscaping, overgrown weeds. If the interior was taken care of, there shouldn't be any too many issues in there, except if they've left the garbage cans in the garage. Then you walk in that house and it's like, whoa, that's pretty strong because we're now at 105, 107 heat with a garbage can full of garbage in the garage. That's going to leak into the house and start stinking. If they had pets, again, that heat just kind of exasperates those smells and those aromas in the air. And so we deal with those challenges. And I think where we're going with this is that, whereas their challenges, they can be overcome because we can always put them in touch with someone.
But those could be advantages, though, too.
They could be. They could be,
I mean, if you're
reasons
the buyer,
why we're discounting the house.
If you're the buyer, you're working on a discount at that point.
Hey, if I'm a buyer and I'm a carpet guy at the same time, maybe I own a carpet store or work for a carpet store, and I walk in and go, hey, look, this is nothing for me. I'll tear this out and throw brand new carpet in here and be done. No problem. Again, it all goes back to interviewing, not just clients interviewing us, but us interviewing clients to figure out, hey, what's a good deal? What is it that you're looking for? What can you do to a house? I noticed you're a carpenter. If the house has some holes in the walls, that could make you, get crazy or not purchase the home. Nah, carpet, no problem.
Oh, no way. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm seeing dollar signs.
Exactly, because those generally equate to discounts.
Exactly.
In those situations, us as depending on what side it is, if it's my seller and I got to explain a hole in the wall and why you should pay top dollar, it's a little bit different conversation. As a buyer, if we walk in, there's a hole in the wall, and we got to say, hey, look, you got a hole in the wall. That's about $2,000.
You're kidding me. No.
Right. So we're going to discuss a little bit more on this topic in a few. Again, check us out on the web, www.azrealestateradio.com. Give us a call, 602-999-1912. Happy to answer any questions you might have about any of our shows or anything, or if you just need a good recommendation for someone.
Absolutely.
But we'll be back in a few.